afternoon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is Cool News at noon. I am Caro, and we are live on Cool FM and News Radio 93.1, where we share the latest news headlines that care for you. Let's begin with the first headline. As the denial of the Philippines extradition request for expelled Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Arnes Teves Jr. will greatly impact the progress of his charges, Presidential Communications Officer Undersecretary Clara Castro said on Friday. The impact of this will be significant, considering that there are alleged victims who have filed complaints against former Congressman Teves, Castro said in Filipino in a press conference. So, as much as possible, the administration will continue to fight for justice for the alleged victims, she added. Teves is facing 10 counts of murder, 14 counts of frustrated murder, and 4 counts of attempted murder under the revised penal code. He is wanted for the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Dagamo in 2023, what is also known for as the Pamplona Massacre. The government of Timor-Leste has approved Teves' appeal to block the extradition request, lawyer Fernando Topacio, Teves' counsel, told Incorporated on Friday. On Thursday. Previously, Timor-Leste had granted the request twice. Castro admitted that the government was surprised by the approval of Teves' appeal, especially regarding the provision the Court of Appeal of Timor-Leste cited in rejecting the wanted lawmaker's extradition. The Timor-Leste court cited a provision in their constitution which prohibits extradition if there is a well-founded risk of being subjected to torture, inhumane, degrading, or cruel treatment. Castro said, even in our constitution, that is prohibited. That's why when they presented their evidence, our administration, through the DOJ, made it clear that none of this will happen under our administration, Castro said. There are puzzled as to why the initial decision of the Timor-Leste court was overturned. Through the appeal they will demonstrate that the extradition should indeed be granted. When asked if President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. had new directives regarding Teves, Castro responded that he would continue to leave it to the DOJ. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon wants the North Luzon Expressway or NLEX to suspend the toll collection in areas affected by the repair work on a damaged bridge in Marilao, Bulacan. Dizon said in Filipino in an interview, "I am demanding from NLEX that while they are doing repairs and our fellow citizens are inconvenienced, to waive toll fees in affected areas segments." On Wednesday, the NLEX court reported the emergency closure of lanes 2 and 3 of the Marlo Inter-Exchange Bridge after a road incident. The incident has been causing low-moving traffic along the expressway. After conducting an assessed movement, the corporation found out that the bridge was struck by an 18-wheeler, causing damage to 2 of the bridge girders. The corporation also announced that the repair would take 2 weeks. However, Dizon instructed to complete it in a week. I said, "This is unacceptable. So this needs to be finished in 1 week. I demanded 1 week. They have not responded if they can do it," he added. Meanwhile, in September 2024, 3 courts in the province of Nueva Ecija and Nueva Vizcaya convicted a man for trafficking minors and selling child sexual abuse materials. In May 2023, a concerned citizen reported Teddy J. Mejia to one of the Philippine National Police Facebook channels. Authorities immediately investigated the trafficker and confirmed he lured minors into sending explicit photos of themselves for money. Mejia used these images to blackmail them into sending more, even threatening to harm their families. Worse, he distributed these materials to paying customers. Mejia also went beyond online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, or OSAEC, by trafficking some victims and subjecting them sexual abuse. Authorities say the trafficker victimized more than 100 individuals across the Philippines. He was in Dubai when the police investigation began. Nevertheless, the police were able to hunt and arrest Mejia. "We have well-trained and dedicated law enforcers committed to tracking down these predators," said Brigadier General Cordia Manalad, Chief of the Philippine National Police Women and Children Protection Center. Anyone who thinks that Anyone who thinks they can evade justice is mistaken. They will find themselves in jail sooner than they expect. Mijia faced 11 charges of human trafficking and 15 charges for violation of the anti-OSAC and Anti-Child Sexual Abuse or Exploitation Materials or CSAEM Act. These were filed separately before different courts, including Regional Trial Court Branch 29 and RTC Branch 37 in Nueva Vizcaya and RTC Branch 88 in Nueva Ecija. Between February 17 and March 17, 2025, Mijia was convicted by different courts after he pleaded guilty to lesser offenses. As a result, the online sex trafficker received a total sentence of over 400 years. Mijia was also ordered to pay 10 million pesos in fines and damages. Furthermore, some of his customers were convicted by the court for availing of his services, perpetuating the exploitation. Regional Prosecutor Romel Baligut of the Office of the Regional Prosecutor Region 2 said the conviction of Teddy Mijia demonstrates the eagerness and determination of the government to combat this monstrous crime of human trafficking and OSAEC. With the help of the community and with our unified and determined efforts, online sexual abuses of children have nowhere to hide. And advocates of extrajudicial killings are victims, and their loved ones on Friday clarified facts surrounding the ordeal of Aling Sheila, who became a subject of vicious attacks online. Supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte criticized Aling Sheila as they believe that one of her sons, Ryan, was not a victim of EJK. Photos of the bereaved Caloocan City resident holding the picture of one of her sons circulated online. She had raised a photo of her son, Ryan, during a picture taken at a press conference on the alleged extrajudicial killings committed by the Duterte administration. Later on, it was found out that Ryan actually died in 2024, or a few years after the former president had stepped down from his presidential post. Ruplin Litao, coordinator of Rise Up for Life and for Rights, said it was Rico, another son of Aling Sheila, and not Ryan, who was killed during the time of the previous administration. Nevertheless, two of her sons were killed, Litao told Inquirer.net over the phone. The group is withholding the full name of Aling Sheila due to safety concerns. Rico was killed during the time of Duterte in 2020 and the another one, Ryan, in 2024. She made the correction. The two men were in their 20s when they died. Litao clarified that Aling Sheila was with one of her children during the event when the photo was shot at a press conference on March 12th. She was holding Rico's picture at first and then she had also raised the photo of her other son, Ryan, who also got killed in a separate incident. The pictures were reportedly switched by mistake during the time the photo was shot. A day after Duterte's arrest, the group held a press conference where Aling Sheila appeared. Litao said the mother is ongoing social support, but she remains unfazed by the online bashing. The group's coordinator also urged social media users to stop their attacks against Aling Sheila. The fact is, she is the victim here. Whatever the time of that is, she still lost her sons, Litao said. Mothers like Aling Sheila always tell us that they are coming out in the open because they don't want other families to experience what they have been through, she noted. It is now 12:12 p.m. as we will return with more news headlines right here on koolNews at noon. After the break. Welcome back to Cool News at Noon. Let's continue with our headlines. Malacanang Palace has no information on the alleged request of former President Rodrigo Duterte to be granted asylum in China, Presidential Communications Officer Undersecretary Clara Castro said on Friday. Castro said in Filipino in the press conference, "We received no such information. That's not part of the info that the palace has been getting." According to reports on Thursday, Duterte allegedly sought and was denied asylum in China before he was arrested on March 11 under a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Asked what information the palace had before Duterte's arrival from Hong Kong, Castro said it was the only information they had concerning the former president. That he was already on the way home from Hong Kong, that's it, she said. Duterte arrived in the country after attending a campaign rally for his endorsed thoroughbreds in Hong Kong. He was arrested upon his arrival due to the alleged crimes against humanity he committed during his administration's drug war. The drug war left at least 6,000 people dead, according to the government, though human rights group reported that number was at least 20,000. Also, the palace has no personal knowledge of who was the mastermind, a word it objected to, behind the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte on behalf of the International Criminal Court, but stressed that it was carried out following the law. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Clara Castro said in Filipino in press conference, "As to who gave the order, we have no personal knowledge of that. As to what was discussed by authorities, we also have no personal knowledge of that. If what should have happened has already happened, it was in accordance with the law," she added, referring to the arrest. Castro made the pronouncement when asked who the mastermind was in formulating Duterte's arrest upon his arrival from Hong Kong on March 11. Castro questioned using the term mastermind, saying, "We have to correct that. Did we hear anyone say mastermind? For us, it has a somewhat negative ring, like it has something to do with the mafia." Asked if this meant Major General Nicholas Torre III, chief of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, acted on his own in arresting Duterte, Castro responded, "I did not say that. What I only said was that we have no personal knowledge of what was discussed." The term mastermind was mentioned during a Senate panel hearing on foreign affairs. However, it was used when Interior Secretary John Vic Remula refuted claims that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and his cabinet members orchestrated the arrest of the former president during a meeting. There was no mastermind. We were discussing mainly about what the former president's statements were in Hong Kong, and it was based all on that statement, Remula said in the hearing. As a teen center in Carigara, Yete is being run to help address cases of teenage pregnancies in the municipality and nearby towns. Located within the municipal compound, the facility gathers a steady number of teenagers who not only avail of its amenities but also receive counseling and guidance. These initiatives are meant to prevent risky behaviors that can lead to early pregnancy. According to John Lester Remilo, the center's officer in charge, at least 20 teenagers visit the facility daily since its opening in November 2024. Riamalo said in a phone interview on March 10, "We provide counseling to help them avoid behaviors that may lead to pregnancy." Beyond reproductive health education, the teen center also aims to ease the gap in education crisis by offering reading comprehension programs and mental health support. Riamilo shared that their youngest recorded case of pregnancy involved a 14-year-old girl, an age where she should still be in school. Getting pregnant at such a young age is not ideal as it affects a girl's future and poses serious health risks, he said. Teenage pregnancies in the town have been linked to peer pressure, family problems, and easy online access to inappropriate content, among other factors. As of March 19, Carigara has recorded 64 teenage pregnancies. The establishment of teen centers is part of the Global Care Philippines program in partnership with the Korea International Cooperation Agency. In 2023, with COICA's funding, Global Care Philippines launched the Adolescent Reproductive Health Promotion Project in 3 municipalities in Leyte. These places are Barugo, Carigara, and Jaro. And as we get over to the international headlines, North Korea said Friday it test launched new anti-aircraft missiles as its military training and specified grave steps against the US and South Korea over their joint military drills that it views as an invasion rehearsal. The official Korean Central News Agency said that leader Kim Jong-un oversaw the test Thursday and called the missiles involve another major defense weapon system for North Korea. The missile launches, North Korea's 6th weapons testing activity this year, occurred on the same day that the US and South Korea militaries concluded their annual Freedom Shield Command Post exercise. The 11th-day training was the Allies' first major joint military exercise since the inauguration of President Donald Trump in January, and the two countries held diverse field training exercises alongside the Freedom Shield drills. US and South Korean officials described their combined military drills as defensive in nature, but North Korea slams them as a major security threat. Hours after this year's Freedom Shield training began on March 10, North Korea fired several ballistic missiles into the sea. On Friday, the North Korea's Defense Ministry alleged the recent US-South Korean drills involved simulations to disperse underground tunnels in the north to remove its nuclear weapons. An unidentified ministry spokesperson said the US and South Korea would face consequences if they perform similar provocative actions again. He commented the reckless military moves of the US and Iraq, seized with a daydream that they can jeopardize the sovereignty and security of a nuclear weapon state, can undoubtedly bring the gravest consequences they do not want, the spokesperson said in a statement carried in KCNA. And let's get into the showbiz with a very, very unfortunate news. Alia Velasquez, Haji Alejandro's longtime girlfriend, confirmed that the OPM icon is battling stage 4 colon cancer, revealing he recently underwent surgery and suffered from an infection but is now back home. Velasquez disclosed Haji's health condition in an interview with broadcaster Julius Babao, as seen in a vlog on the latter's YouTube channel on Thursday, March 20. Velasquez recalled how Haji, age 70, was a vegan for a show when he suddenly felt bloated and could not breathe or eat. He underwent a CT scan and was informed by the doctor that he has cancer. She said, ang initial findings ay stage 4 colon cancer agad, adding that the doctor told them that Haji needed to undergo an immediate operation at the time. Haji then underwent surgery and appeared well post-operation. However, days later, Haji had seizures and was rushed to the intensive healthcare unit due to an infection. After a week, Haji was moved to the regular room, underwent therapy, and was able to talk again. Velasquez said today is home. Meron silang walker kasi nag-aaral lang ulit silang gumalaw kasi nawalan na sila ng muscles He's incapacitated pero ang ganda pa rin ng memory at process nila. Velasquez admitted that it came to a point where she felt like Haji was not with them anymore because he was already sedated and intubated. She nonetheless prayed hard for his healing, which she said God granted. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 12:30 p.m. and we will end it right here on koolNews at noon. We will return with more news headlines later with koolNews at 6 and a late night newscast with koolNews Prime Time at 12 midnight the next day. You can also send us your comments, suggestions, and feedback to our email at tvhthephilippines.news@gmail.com. Until then, I am Caro and this has been koolNews at noon, and the music now continues right here on Kool FM. This is your station. This is home. Good afternoon.